Today I will tell you about the global plan for building a new world. The world will be divided in half again. There will be two poles again, one in the west, the other in the east. What is happening in Israel now is a necessary puzzle, without which a new bipolar world is impossible. And of course, everything that you will hear today is just my speculation that has nothing to do with reality. So, on September 22, 2023, at a meeting of the UN General Assembly, the Prime Minister of Israel presented this plan, according to which the new Silk Road will go through the territory of Saudi Arabia, Jordan and Israel. From Israel, the goods will go to Europe. That is, the State of Israel is becoming an important transport hub and will receive significant income from the new trade corridor. At first glance, the plan seems crazy, because it assumes friendship between Arab countries and the State of Israel, and, as we see, Israel has not been very friendly with the Arabs for the last 50 years. We will not understand the origins of this hostility. We will just accept it as a fact. The Arabs do not like Israel, and Israel is not friends with the Arabs. In such a situation, it seems utopian to build a powerful transport highway through Israel. But it's not as simple as it seems at first glance. Firstly, Netanyahu announced this plan not just when, but in the Jubilee year, which happens once every 50 years. Secondly, this plan did not arise from scratch. Back in 2020, important agreements were concluded between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco. Abraham's agreements brought new contracts, investments, and new joint projects in trade, energy, and water management. Since 2020, about 1 million Israelis have visited the United Arab Emirates. Every day Israelis save money and time by doing what they could not afford for 70 years. They fly over the Arabian Peninsula. Destinations in the Persian Gulf, India and the Far East. Abraham's agreements brought Arabs and Jews closer together. As we can see, Netanyahu has announced a very real plan, a plan to build a new transport corridor from India to Europe. And please note that we are talking about India, not China. Goods will go to Europe from India. There are no plans to transport goods from China along the new transport corridor. And what will be transported from India? After all, today the main production base is China. It is China that supplies the whole world with necessary and unnecessary junk. So, from India to Europe they will take what they will stop buying in China: processors, textiles, light and chemical industry goods. The list is huge. Simply put, a new global industrial zone is being created in India, which will replace the Chinese one. It sounds fantastic at first glance. But let's look at the facts. In recent years, huge flows of oil have been coming to India from Russia, and technology is coming from Europe to India. Not just technology. They are building the latest factories for the production of chips, tires, and much more. In 2024, a plant of Micron Technology Corporation for the production of silicon wafers will be launched in Gujarat. In addition to the plate factory, 2 enterprises of a Taiwanese semiconductor company will be built in India. One of the plants will produce microchips for power machines, electric vehicles, and telecommunication devices. So the world is changing, and changing before our eyes. Global forces are creating a new economic miracle, the Indian one. India will soon become the largest industrial power, and will produce everything that the markets of America, Northern Europe, and Australia consume. So, Indian goods must somehow be delivered to Europe, and therefore a new India-United Arab Emirates Israel-Europe transport route will be created. That is, this is the path that Netanyahu drew with a felt-tip pen on September 22. The plan was announced grandiose. But the implementation of this plan could be prevented by armed groups entrenched in the Gaza Strip. It is these scumbags who have been firing at the state of Israel from various types of weapons for a dozen years. In the beginning it was mortar attacks, today it is large-scale rockets. In addition, the Gaza Strip is the coast, and the coast, according to the new plan, is a very necessary type of terrain. New seaports should grow here. Simply put, the Israeli window to Europe. So, the new one was hindered by the Islamic Jihad and Hamas groups. It was they who fired rockets at Israel until the last moment. It would seem to be a dead end. A new transport corridor is impossible, because the coast of Israel is controlled by the Hamas and Islamic Jihad groups. But on October 7th, an incredible thing happened. The leaders of Hamas went mad and sent their fighters to kill Israeli citizens. And not just to kill, but with extreme cruelty. The Islamic Jihad group has simply evaporated. They don't talk about her in the news. She doesn't arrange terrorist attacks, she just disappeared. So, in response to the Hamas atrocity, Israel launches an operation to clean up the Gaza Strip. This operation is complicated, most likely it will last several months. But as a result, the State of Israel will take control of the entire coast and will be able to safely implement its part of the plan to build a new transport route from India to Europe. Today Israel is in a difficult situation, but in less than a year everything will change. Money and new technologies will go to Israel, and Benjamin Netanyahu also told about this on September 22, 2023. He said that Israel will become a center for the implementation of technologies related to artificial intelligence. And these are new factories, universities, and new investments. So if the plan is implemented, the citizens of Israel will see an upturn in the economy, which, in turn, will cause a rise in living standards. But it won't start for at least a year. But already today there are people who have benefited from the current situation. And of course, it's Biden and his party. The peacemaker. Biden has actually already won the 2024 election. Even if not Biden, the Democrats will definitely win. After all, they stopped a big war. Now let's look at the dates. The dates are very important, because this is the history of the State of Israel. The Yom Kippur War began on October 6, 1973. It was the most important day of the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur. It's been 50 years. The year 2023 has come. This year, Yom Kippur fell on September 24th, and, it seems, no global events happened on this day. On this day, no, but 2 days before Yom Kippur, Benjamin Netanyahu showed the whole world a plan for a new transport corridor. At first glance, this is a coincidence. And besides, it was established in the Torah that once every 50 years a shofar was blown all over the country, announcing the coming of the Jubilee year. In this year, the mortgaged lands were returned and the enslaved members of the community were freed. If Yom Kippur is the most important Jewish day, then Yom Kippur in the Jubilee year was the most important. Now look, in 1973, on Yom Kippur Day, Arab countries attacked the State of Israel, and it seemed that Israel would not stand. The situation was so critical that the Israeli government began developing a version of Samson. Like the biblical hero who brought down the roof and killed himself and his enemies, Israel began preparing 13 nuclear warheads with which it planned to destroy the enemy. The consequences of such a step were unpredictable neither for Israel nor for the whole world, but the United States intervened in the war, supplied Israel with shells, tanks, and artillery. Thanks to this assistance, Israel launched a counteroffensive, and the Yom Kippur War ended on October 25. 50 years have passed, and once again Israel is in trouble surrounded by enemies. And again, a North American friend comes to the rescue and supplies weapons and supplies. And most importantly, it inspires confidence and threatens to punish those who dare to attack Israel. That is, the most important events for Israel are repeated with a cycle of 50 years. If this is not an anniversary year, then what is it? That's it. Watch my channel.